Happy day! I am joining today, sitting outside. I really needed some outside time. I wanted to specifically get on here to talk about depression and um, to acknowledge that I myself have been feeling a little depression popping in. And part of it is my responsibility. Hi, Melinda. Happy day. How are you doing, beautiful? I'm outside in my garden. I just did a bunch of weeding, and I feel inspired to talk about depression. Is anyone else feeling a little depressed? Is anyone else feeling it? I find myself a lot of the time not sharing and perhaps even shaming myself when I get depressed, when I feel some depression, because I put a lot of pressure on myself. Nobody else does it, it's just me. Feeling like, well, I'm supposed to have it all figured out. I'm a counselor, you know. I help people raise their vibrations and create lives that they love living. And so I, of all people, shouldn't be feeling depressed, is what I tell myself. And then I just kind of spiral because I don't talk about it. So I have decided to talk about it. Because I want to create a reality that I love living, and the first step to that is acknowledging where we are, honestly and authentically, without shame or guilt or blame, and then taking steps, you know. But I think the biggest thing I want to talk about is like this depression paradox that we can get in, where we might realize that we're depressed but not have the energy to do what we need to do to get out of it. And it's kind of like this pit of hell. It's like this just horrible, despicable pit of hell and loneliness that's self-created. And so I was laying in bed the other day, and I was like, well, first of all, I don't always recognize that I'm depressed until I'm like really depressed. I dealt with severe depression for a majority of my life. And once I learned the coping mechanisms and skills to raise my vibration, then I didn't feel it for a long time. And then I started to feel so good that I thought I didn't need those coping skills and tools anymore. And so I dropped out of my meditation. I dropped out of getting sunlight. Like really like the antidote for depression is quite simple, really, and easy. But it's not always quite simple and easy to acknowledge it and then do something, because again, we get in this space where we don't want to talk about how we're feeling, or we may, I don't know how other people's depression is. I would love to hear about your depression in the comments. If you're struggling with some depression right now, I would love to hear about it. Not so we can commiserate, but so that we can uplift each other and support each other and send love to each other. And so I was laying in bed the other night and I was like, fuck, I think I'm depressed. Oh, I don't think I'm allowed to cuss. Oh, crap. I think I'm depressed. And what had happened, so immediately I started looking at, my behavior and what had led up to it. And really, like, the biggest part of it is I had dropped out of my schedule of meditation and self-care. And it got more, I needed less and less and less and less. And then I boxed myself into this little thing where I don't need anything because I'm taking care of everybody else. And then I get depressed and then I feel shame that I'm depressed, and it's just like this trap that I put myself in. So today is the first day of me doing something about it. So I woke up and we got really bad news that my friend's dog was attacked by an animal and is no longer. And that was really, really sad, and it brought up a lot of grief. And but instead of wallowing in it, I did a foot detox. And then I know the second thing that I need, other than first thing, if you're feeling depressed, the first thing is detox. Because you may be depressed because you're full of toxins, and they are sure shit pumping enough toxins in the air for people to be feeling it. Heavy metals from chemtrails, the toxins that they're putting in our food. I mean, we're just kind of being bombarded. So the first step is detox. So I did a foot detox. And then I know I need to be outside. I need to be outside. And I can tell that I've been depressed by anytime I look at my garden and it's overgrown with weeds. I'm like, oh, okay. Because isn't it hard sometimes to even recognize that you're feeling depressed? Does anybody else have a hard time, like, even just recognizing that you're depressed? I don't know if that's just me. So I weeded my garden and I organized my plants, and I've been outside and I'm sweating and it's gross and I'm sticky and it's awesome. And the main thing I wanted to come on and talk about is, like I was saying, that paradox that we get ourselves into when we realize we're depressed, but we don't have the energy to get up and do anything. And so actually, I guess I started working on pulling myself out of this depression a few days ago when I acknowledged, like, okay, I'm feeling depressed. And then we often get stuck in this feeling that we have to do something, right? We have to take some sort of action. And although that there is a spot where we can take action, we also want to practice grace and mercy for where we're at. And if we're, I'm pretty sure I just had COVID. If it wasn't COVID, it was a pretty nasty flu, and it did some really wild things to my brain, made me think all kinds of wild stuff. So I'm coming out of that, and I just want to remind anybody that's, like, in this position that you don't always have to take action first. Like, sometimes that action is just not available. And so I want to encourage you to realize that your energy and your mind is really the first place to start. And we can get ourselves in a place where we're willing to do the action, right? And so what that looked like for me, there's the process. I want to walk you through a process. So first, you realize that you're feeling like shit, right? And then, or like crap, man, I don't think I'm allowed to cuss on my live. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. Mommy's got a potty mouth. So, uh, realize that you're feeling like crap. And then realize that that crappy feeling is either showing you that there's some sort of trauma coming up that's ready to be seen, loved, and released. And this is what I coach my clients through, right? So I'm just like practicing what I preach. Um, See it, love it, release it, look at it, go, where is this feeling coming from? For me, this time it wasn't necessarily related to a past trauma. You hear the hawks? They're so cool. Um, it wasn't a past trauma. It was that I was feeling some kind of way, and I don't pay attention to the news or the media anymore because I am way too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive. It throws my vibration way off. It's not that I'm like being irresponsible and not paying attention. It's just that I know me worrying about what is going on in the world that I have no control over is not helping the world. So I stopped looking at the world basically so that I can just raise my own vibration, because I know when we raise our own vibration, that ripples out and that helps the world, that helps our neighbors, that helps elevate mankind. And so that's the first step, is by working on our own vibration. And so you can use this for depression, you can use this for anxiety, you can use this anytime that you're feeling like crud, right? So you realize you're feeling like crud, and then the first step is going to be um, bringing yourself present, right? Bringing ourselves present in the moment. Because most of the time, 98% of the time, it's our mind causing us pain. And so I brought myself present. I realized I was safe, laying in my bed, my cozy bed. All my needs are met. Everything is fine. Nobody's hurting me personally right now. Although I had looked at the world and I had seen the world is hurting. The world is hurting so much right now. Our collective mirror is really showing a lot of our shadow, all of our shadows. Everything's coming up to be seen. But deeply, although it is painful, I do believe that it is a necessary thing, because in order for us to heal things, we first have to see them. We have to see them, and that's a really painful experience. And so what had happened was I looked. First I called a friend and I was like, hey, I haven't looked at the news or anything, but I'm feeling something really big coming. Like I feel, and the last time I felt this way was right before we went into lockdowns. I had a whole vision in a couple of months before lockdowns happened, where I saw that we were no longer able to travel. I was up in Pennsylvania taking care of my dad, and I came down so that I could be with my family, because I got this vision and I was terrified, right? And then it happened. And so now I'm having, again, the same kind of like sneaky suspicion that something's going on. I call my friend and I'm like, hey, I'm feeling some kind of way, what's going on? And she was like, oh yeah, the world is going crazy. It's on fire, quite literally in some spaces. And I was like, what? No way. And I looked, I got on social media and I looked at the news and I looked at all of this stuff, and my little tender, sensitive heart just broke. And I went from feeling really, I was okay. Maybe I wasn't on top of the world anymore because I had backed off of my self-care a little bit. But I was still doing okay. And then I just like plummeted, and it just like took me down. And for me, depression is life or death. I have a history of suicide attempts. I'm a 6-time suicide survivor. Gratefully, thankfully, I am still alive. And I never ever want to be in that space again. So for me, when I start to realize I'm feeling depressed, it's like, oh, we need to get on this, right? Because ultimately, each of us, we are in charge of our own realities. We are in charge of the reality that we are creating. And we must learn to look at the reality that we're creating for ourselves without shame or blame or guilt or any of that. Like, again, we have to see it in order to do something about it. And our outer reality is a reflection of what's going on internally, right? and um, and it's just this really interesting spot that I feel like I'm in right now, where my personal reality is honestly amazing. I have manifested everything that I've wanted. My pocket of the universe, like without looking at what's going on with other people. Um, I live in an intentional community based on gift economy. My I have a job. I get to do what I absolutely love. Like, it blows my mind, the work that I do with my clients. And I get to do that. Like, it's my happy place working with my clients. I'm just so endlessly grateful. Um, and and my kids are healthy and we're healthy. I mean, other than this, COVID that we just got, but like, we homeschool, and our little homeschool co-op is on the property that we're on. I mean, my personal life is amazing. Amazing. And then I look at the world and I see so much pain and so much sadness and grief and anger and fear and all of that stuff. And like, it it's just kind of hard to um, reconcile. It's kind of odd, and then I get into this space where I'm like feeling guilty, feeling guilty that my life is so awesome and other people's are really suffering. This situation in Maui, man, I don't know if I've lived a past life in Maui or what. I have no ties to Maui. I've never been to Hawaii. I have no link in this life to Maui, but something in me tells me that I have past life history in Hawaii, because it's just overwhelming. What's happening is overwhelming, and I'm speechless. Um, and then what's going on in New York and like all the stuff that they're talking about coming down the line, is just a bit much, right? And so it knocked me off my pedestal, and I got depressed. So first thing is realize that you're depressed, and then realize that you're the creator of your own reality, and like it or not, the reality that we're creating is ours. Even that even that big reality that we don't like looking at, it's still all of our shadows being projected at us. It's all of the things that we've been failing to look at for years and years and years and years. And um, you know, we've got to work through it together. And I do believe that the light has already won. I mean, on a spiritual level, I know that in the end, the light wins, because all there is light. The darkness is a reflection of the light. They're two sides of the same coin. And so I know in the end, all is well. And even like looking at government programs like Project Looking Glass, it shows that um, you know good wins in the end. But that doesn't mean that we avoid a bunch of people hurting, you know. And I think I just like got a little too far out of myself, and I put my energy boundaries down and got ungrounded and was feeling empathetic distress. What's empathetic distress? This is something really important for everybody to understand. Empathetic distress is when we process our own grief, fear, anger, whatever feeling through someone else's experience, right? So it's like we've dissociated to our own experience with that feeling, shut it down in some way. And then something outside of ourselves triggers that, and we basically feel our own emotions through that person's experience. We like project how we think how they feel, or yada yada yada, and we process whatever emotion that is, and it's kind of selfish. And I, again, I don't mean that in like a way of shaming or guilting. Just, it is what it is. It's a selfish thing to do, because then what we're really doing is focusing on our own. Hi Wayne, welcome. Thank you for being here. We're talking about how to get out of depression today. If you guys wouldn't mind liking this video, I'd really appreciate it. And so it's really easy to slip into empathetic distress and not realize that we're doing it. We think we're being kind because we're feeling so sad for the people. And indeed, they may be feeling sad, but really we're feeling our own feelings, about it, instead of how, talking to them and supporting them and seeing how they're feeling. And so I slip into empathetic distress, and then it just kind of spirals, for me. Depression sneaks up and it spirals really quickly. And because I'm a counselor, I tell myself I'm not allowed to, feel that way, and I tell myself I um, I must not be a very good counselor if I'm feeling so off balance, right? And then I start to like shame and blame, and really beat up on myself, which is ridiculous, because a counselor or not, I'm still human, I'm not a robot. I have feelings, and the world is going through a lot right now, And I was just thinking about that, and I'm like, I'm probably not the only one hurting. And I'm probably not the only one that could use this formula of how to get out of depression. And it sounds very simple, what I'm gonna say, but it's easier to say and harder to apply, which is why people need support and coaching through it. But first step is realizing that you feel some kind of way. Let me read the comments real quick. Melinda, I can relate to the increase in depression when backing off of self-care, and definitely need a detox. I do get depressed when thinking I should be further along in my journey. Yeah, man, we really it's really us messing ourselves up. Like, I should be. Why am I? Meow, 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 meow. And so, and that is probably, just a tape playing from childhood of what someone else did to us when we were hurting, or sometimes we have programs of I motivate myself through criticism, right? This is one of the beliefs that I work with my clients, of pulling the program I motivate myself through criticism, and downloading I motivate myself through the joy of doing something, right? And so the first step is going to be, again, noticing you're feeling like crap, and then bringing yourself present. First of all, making sure that you're not actually in danger. This is a huge thing for anxiety. If you have anxiety and you use this skill, this coping skill, this process that I'm going to tell you, you will absolutely feel better. Like, I can promise you. It's just getting yourself to do it, right? So, you realize you feel like crap. Anxiety, fear, grief, whatever. Immediately bring yourself present. Immediately. Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now. If you haven't read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, go do it. It's not a book that you're going to read all at once. Put it in your bathroom and read it when you go into the bathroom. Because you read paragraphs at a time and then you want to process it. Hi, Zara. Thanks for being here. We're chatting about how to get out of depression or anxiety. So you bring yourself present. First thing you want to do is, where are my feet? Right? And literally, where are my feet? Look at your feet, right? And start naming just your physical environment. You're trying to anchor yourself in the reality, because most likely you're in the ghetto of your mind somewhere, and you need to anchor your presence in the now where most likely you're safe. And so you bring yourself present. Like, where are my feet? Oh, my feet are on this blue and, white rug. Well, it's not really white anymore because it's outside, but this blue and cream rug. I'm sitting in a brown chair. It has teal cushions. There's a bag of potting soil next to me. You start naming whatever it is, and you can do this in your mind, but in the beginning, most of the time, you need to really do it out loud. And again, this process in the beginning, it's working a muscle of your brain, so it might be challenging to do it in the beginning. But now I will tell you, I can do this while I'm talking to somebody. Say, while I'm talking to somebody, I can realize I'm triggered and I can do this process in the back of my mind without doing it out loud. But in the beginning, you may need to do it out loud. So, where are my feet? Um, here's where I am, right? Am I safe? Um, wow, okay, we're gonna hide that message. Um, and then once you are present in your reality, then you're gonna try to get an elevated view, right? Because we can't solve a problem from the same place it was created. So if we're feeling anxious, depressed, sad, whatever it is, we need to elevate ourselves, our vibration, our perspective up out of that. So you're going to go from naming things around you, just benign things that are around you, to naming things you love, right? So, oh, I love my plants behind me. I love my copper crown, made by a dear friend of mine. It helps me feel so good. I love these trees that are around me. I love, you can't see it, but I have a little decoration I made for the door. And you just start naming things in your physical reality that you love. And what that's going to do, and you'll feel it in this space, you'll feel it in this space, your heart gut space, right? You'll feel a release at the very least. And at most, you'll feel like, to give a sound to it, it's like bing. Like you'll feel this space release the anxiety, release the fear, release the sadness, because the body is a communication device, and it will tell you what's going on, right? My phone is going off. Sorry if you can hear that. So once you feel that relief, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, Once you get that sense of relief, then okay, I've elevated my consciousness. Um, what was going on? And then you look at, where are you? Where are you? Oftentimes, even though you're washing dishes, you're remembering something that happened when you were younger, some sort of trauma or whatever. Or you are taking some trauma in the past and projecting it into the future. And anytime you do that, you're going to feel like crap, right? Anytime that you are not present, you're going to feel not great unless you're purposefully putting your awareness into the future. And so then you're going to look at whatever trauma's coming up. Like, what is that? See it, love it, release it. I can go deeper into how to see, love, and release it in another video. But you're going to see, love, and release it. It's something as simple as like, oh, I see that you're hurting, little self or whatever. I see that you're hurting. I love you. I'm here to take care of you. That's not happening right now, whatever. Or you realize that you're projecting your consciousness into the future, but you're taking the baggage from the past with you. And so then you want to realize, like, oh, what am I afraid of happening right now? What fear is coming up in the future? And say it's like something like, for me right now, the big thing is, I fear like this worldwide domination, just to be completely honest with you. I fear the government taking over and doing really horrible dystopian type kind of things. And and then it's like, okay, well, take ownership over the fact that you're a powerful creator and what you focus on magnifies. Do I want to create that reality, the dystopian reality? Absolutely not. So, what is the contrast of what I'm feeling, what you're feeling? What is the contrast of this fear of evil government? We'll just say that, showing me that I want. Well, I think it's showing me that I want peace. I want world leaders who are trustworthy. I want solidarity. I want, um, kind, spiritual based leadership, right? I want equality. And then you go into your creation station, your imagination, and you're actually going to feel what that feels like, see it. So I'll go into this space where I see a peaceful world. And then your body, you'll feel your body shift into, oh, that feels good. Your brain can't tell the difference between something that you are imagining and something that you're witnessing, which just is like the weirdest thing to me. Or something you're seeing on TV. Your brain can't tell that it's not real. It just like totally blows my mind. But that's our brain. So if we see it in our mind, then we're creating it in our reality. And then, the more that we focus on that reality, then the more that we're aligning with that reality. And you might realize a lot of beliefs come up to block that, you know. And those are the kinds of beliefs that I work with my clients through, such as like, that's impossible, or the guilt that comes up from, feeling that, all kinds of stuff. And so once you see that reality, you'll feel your body lighten, you'll feel your body shift, and then you go, oh, good. I'm excited to align with that reality. I know that I've created that. Hey, at the very least, I've raised my vibration. And by raising my vibration, I know I've personally, in my little pocket of the universe, created something better for myself. I may not know what that looks like right now, but I'm super excited to see what that looks like and to see what manifests for myself now that I am a higher vibrational match to something than when I was in the fear. And so when I was laying in bed the other day, somebody's asking what do I think about furries. Um, I don't have that really in my reality, so I haven't really thought much about it. I whatever makes you happy, man. Like whatever makes you happy. If dressing up um, in a costume right now helps you cope with reality, then go for it. I'm all about, my whole thing is like, my body, my choice, your body, your choice. My life, my reality. I get to create it the way I want to create it. You get to create your reality the way you want to create it. Take ownership over that. I think people who um, do furries are really stepping into that reality where they get to create their own reality, regardless of what the world or anyone else thinks. So I guess I think it's great. If it makes you happy, then go for it. Is it something I would do? Um, I don't think so. I've never tried. It's not something that calls to me. And I'm not quite sure I understand what furries are all about. Like, I guess I don't understand the difference between cosplay and furries. So, that's my take on furries. Thank you for joining and asking about how I feel about furries. How do you feel about furries? so, so anyway, yeah, the other day, I realized that I was dealing with depression, and that's the process that I walked myself through because I know, obviously, like I know the reason why I was feeling depressed was because I had fallen off my beam big time. Meditation for me is so important. Hi, Rockley. Thanks for joining. Um, Meditation for me is number one. It's really key. Meditation and sleep, right? Um, and I was getting a lot of sleep, but no meditation. And then I stopped eating my nutritious meals, and then I stopped doing detox, and I just slowly stopped doing things. And so laying in bed feeling super, super depressed, I knew that the action I needed to take was for me to um, do some sort of one of those things, right? But depression for me feels like um, a, a, a pit of mud, and like you're trying to climb up the walls, and as soon as you get up a little higher, um, you like fall back down. That's what depression feels like. And so it's like the trying to climb this wall of sludge. And so sometimes action just isn't available like that. But I can always shift my mental perspective. And then once we shift that mental perspective, just laying in bed, right? Like just laying in bed. Oh, what's bothering me? Oh, this. Okay, well, what is this showing me that I really want? Oh, well, I want this. Let me focus on that. Oh, that feels really good. Oh, that does feel really good. I'm excited to align with that. Good job, self, for shifting your vibration. You've raised your vibration. You're going to align with something better. And then what happens is magical, because then you've raised your vibration up just enough that maybe the next day action is available, which for me today it was available. And like I said, I did a foot detox. I felt so much better in my body immediately after doing a foot detox. Um, and then coming outside and messing with my plants. And now I genuinely feel better. And I know I need to stay off social media. Um, okay, bye, Rockley. Man, people say the weirdest things in. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Rockley. Thank you. People say the strangest things in these lives. Somebody said, I just know your husband is tired of you. Get ready for those divorce papers. Like, God bless you, Game Palooza. I'm just sending you so much love. Like, you're you must be in a really strange reality to say something like that to a stranger. So I love you, Game Palooza. I love you, and I hope that your heart just becomes so full of all the things that you need to feel good about yourself, so that you don't feel the need to go into some comment section and say some random negative shit like that. Um anyway, so part of my plan to get out of depression was to share, first of all, and get out of the stigma that just because I'm a counselor I'm not allowed to feel depressed. So this is me taking action. This is me doing that. This is me calling myself out. um, I'm going to I've been scrolling on social media too much, and that makes me also feel really depressed and not creating enough. And so I'm going to shift that. And instead of scrolling on social media, I'm going to create. And so the good thing about social media is that it really helps me stay accountable. Like whether people are actually watching my thing or not, it I don't care. For me, it helps me stay accountable. So I'm gonna be sharing the things that I'm doing to come out of depression again on my Instagram, and I'm trying to get into TikTok. TikTok's a little weird, but I'm trying. And I prefer to go live, so I just want my TikTok to get to the point where I can go live, and then I'll go live on TikTok all the time. But it keeps saying that people are subscribing to my TikTok channel, but the number isn't going up, and you have to have 1,000 followers on TikTok in order to be able to go live. And so I don't understand the algorithm of TikTok. Um, but I am gonna try to create some content on how I'm choosing to come out of depression, as a way of holding myself accountable. Um, and that's a good thing about social media. So thank you for being here. Thank you for witnessing my process, um, and commenting even the strangest things. If you guys have any questions about the process that I teach, I would love to receive them. And let's support each other. If you want to follow me on my other social media, it's Misfit Sanctuary everywhere. Um, so find me and let's talk about it. Anyway, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of me for doing this. This was for me. If you got something out of it, then that's awesome. I hope that somebody gets something out of this. But if nothing else, I am proud of me because outing myself is really a big step for me. And so I know I am on my way to feeling on top of the world again, creating paradise for myself. Um, and I'm so super excited. If you are interested in any copper, this is Tesla technology, okay? Um, Scalar frequency. These copper rings, oh, let me hit myself in the face. These are amazing. It helps get rid of headaches. It helps elevate your vibration. If you point it up at the sky, if there's chemtrails or whatever, it will, bust up artificial clouds. You can put it at your heart and amplify love through it. And I have stopped arguments in their tracks just by holding this copper ring at my heart and beaming love through it. Like immediately, the argument stops. It's absolutely incredible. And it's my dearest friend Shivambi. You can find him on Instagram at Copper Prince, like the Prince, like Prince. And he has all kinds of amazing technology, divine life technology. If I have a headache, I I could try everything in the world, like all of the things, and it won't get rid of it. And then I'll put this on, and it's like, it feels so good. It's a great way to raise your vibration. But anyway, that's my story for today. And you want to see my garden? You want to see what I did? You didn't get to see it before, so you didn't see that it was all full of weeds and all crazy. Hey Melinda, okay, I'm proud of you, always humble. Thank you, love you. Let me show you my garden real quick. Can I turn this around? Okay, I'm gonna do this. Hold on. Okay, so I got my strawberries were being just choked out by weeds. So I pulled the weeds. Like my pineapple plant going crazy. Got some jasmine. And got some more jasmine. This is a spider lily. It's really pretty when it is in bloom. And then over here, I'm so super excited because my bleeding heart, let me take my phone off of this thing. My bleeding heart has its first blooms. Look at how pretty. So I weeded out. Oh my god, the mosquitoes are so bad. And yeah, my plants are happy. I have so many plants. And also, this one is my pride and joy. She's got a muncher. I gotta find the little caterpillar. See, this is something else you can do with your copper. Electroculture. You put copper in the soil. I need to put an antenna on the end of it, but this is working so far. And it brings into the soil the nutrients that it needs. But this is my baby. Well, they're all my babies. This one is finally growing. So pretty. Aren't they so pretty? My little Swiss cheese. What did I say there? What did I say where? Which one? I don't know what I said. I said lots of things. And then here's the little thing I made for the door for fall. I love ivy, all the different kinds of ivy. And then I rehabbed this beautiful plant. I don't know what it is, but isn't it so pretty? And then I've got my elephant ears and my monstera. My turmeric is done back there. These things? These are a kind of inch plant, and I didn't realize how much they were going to dominate my garden. Got a bunch of little spider babies. If you guys want spider babies, let me know. I will ship them to you. Just pay for shipping. This is Mike. Oh, check this out. This spider is wrapping up some dinner. Wow. This is Mike. We have been growing Mike since he was like this big. He was a science experiment. My son, in my son's 4th grade class. And then these, I know they're looking sad, but these are bougainvilleas. They grow really great in Orlando, but since I moved up here to Gainesville, it's struggling. And this is my San Pedro cactus. And this is my avocado tree growing really well. And this is my plumeria. And then here's more of those inch plants. Just growing crazy. Growing crazy. And then my other little pride and joy is this little pitcher plant. Look, it's got 2 little pitchers. And this is where I live. We were gonna put a garden here, but we realized we can't. It's a long story. And there's the little schoolhouse, the little homeschool schoolhouse. I mean, look at this. Look at how gorgeous this is. This is where I live. This is where I live. Oh, and then there's this one flower. There's only one. There's only one growing on the whole property, right? My little camper. I wonder if it's still, yeah, look at this. What is this? If anyone knows what this is, I would love to know. Look at how pretty. I just don't even know what kind of plant that is. Thank you, Melinda. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Yeah, I don't know what kind of plant that is. We got all these ferns. I mean, I just live in a beautiful little... Whoa, what happened? There we go. Look at a little beautiful... The only thing I don't like about this space is all these rocks. But we had to lay the rocks down. Oh, those are spider lilies? I guess. I have a spider lily, but mine looks totally different. Mine is white. But that would make sense. Oh my goodness. I just feel like so blessed and gifted by the universe to have those growing there. I just don't see the, like, where, like, the rest of the plant, like the leaves. Because my spider lily is over here. Oh, look, here comes my baby. Hi, baby. She's been on an adventure all day. This is my spider lily plant, Melinda. And it blooms once a year. with these big long stems, and the leaves are white. Or not the leaves, the flowers are white. And I'm super excited. I got some ginger over here growing. I don't know what these are called, but I love these. And this is a beautyberry, which some people would call a weed. And also this, here's a little lesson, guys. A lot of people would call this a weed and they would pull it out, but this is actually a medicinal herb. And do you see how the little balls are like on the stem? They're not hanging from the stem. They're on the stem. This is called the stone breaker, or chunca piedra. And you can eat the leaves, you can make tea out of it, you can eat the roots, and it will get rid of kidney stones and gallstones, any kind of stones that you have. But there's a look-alike, you have to be careful. There's a look-alike, and the leaves are very similar. Am I like, let me back up. Why is it doing that? There we go. The leaves look very similar, but the little balls in the fake one, in the look-alike, which is toxic, the little balls will hang down. See, this one is like on the stem, but in the look-alike, the little balls will be hanging off, and you don't want to eat that. But not all of the weeds are actual weeds, and these are beautyberry, like I said. But these are my ginger plants. And my ivy. I've been growing this ivy for years. It's like wrapped around a few times. I don't know. These, you know, this is how wow, I'm like really close to the camera. This is how I took care of myself today, guys. I told on myself, and I spent some time outside. It's getting ready to rain. So now I'm gonna go in, and instead of scrolling on social media, I'm going to either make some content, or I'm gonna read a book, or do one of my courses, because I'm doing a couple of courses right now. And I hope that you'll have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me and taking a tour of my lovely garden. And I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful day.